Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Tennis. A score consisting of winning a game when your opponent was serving. He was up 2 breaks in the second set. Breaking of hard tissue such as bone. The break seems to have been caused by a fall. Enter someone's virtual or real property in an unauthorized manner, usually with the intent to steal or commit a violent act. Be released or become known of news. Fail to agree with, be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. It was presented without commercial breaks. Lessen in force or effect. Break a fall. An escape from jail. The breakout was carefully planned. Interrupt a continued activity. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. Break into tears. Any frame in which a bowler fails to make a strike or spare. The break in the 8th frame cost him the match. Go to pieces. Ruin completely. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Break a law. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Do a break dance. Kids were break dancing at the street corner. Prevent completion. Break off the negotiations. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. Terminate. Break a lucky streak. Surpass in excellence. Break a record. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The act of breaking something. The breakage was unavoidable. Happen. Break down, literally or metaphorically. A pause from doing something, as work. We took a 10-minute break. Stop operating or functioning. Fracture a bone of. Reduce to bankruptcy. My daughter's fancy wedding is going to break me. Assign to a lower position. Reduce in rank. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. Break a piece from a whole. Break a branch from a tree. Make submissive, obedient, or useful. The horse was tough to break. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Move away or escape suddenly. Nobody can break out. This prison is high security. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. They hoped to avoid a break in relations. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. There was a break in the action when a player was hurt. Destroy the completeness of a set of related items. The book dealer would not break the set. Cease an action temporarily. Let's break for lunch. An unexpected piece of good luck. He finally got his big break. An abrupt change in the tone or register of the voice, as at puberty or due to emotion. Then there was a break in her voice. A sudden dash. He made a break for the open door. Be broken in. If the new teacher won't break, we'll add some stress. Become punctured or penetrated. Cause the failure or ruin of. This play will either make or break the playwright. Cause to give up a habit. Change directions suddenly. Change suddenly from one tone quality or register to another. Come forth or begin from a state of latency. Come into being. Come to an end. Crack. Of the male voice in puberty. His voice is breaking, he should no longer sing in the choir. Curl over and fall apart in surf or foam, of waves. Destroy the integrity of, usually by force, cause to separate into pieces or fragments. Diminish or discontinue abruptly. Emerge from the surface of a body of water. Exchange for smaller units of money. I had to break a $100 bill just to buy the candy. Fall sharply. Find a flaw in. Break an alibi. Find the solution or key to. Break the code. Give up. Break cigarette smoking. Happen or take place. Things have been breaking pretty well for us in the past few months. Interrupt the flow of current in. Break a circuit. Invalidate by judicial action. Make a rupture in the ranks of the enemy or one's own by quitting or fleeing. Make the opening shot that scatters the balls. Pierce or penetrate. Render inoperable or ineffective. Scatter or part. Separate from a clinch, in boxing. The occurrence of breaking. The break in the dam threatened the valley. The opening shot that scatters the balls in billiards or pool. Undergo breaking. Vary or interrupt a uniformity or continuity. Weaken or destroy in spirit or body. Tennis. A score consisting of winning a game when your opponent was serving. Breaking of hard tissue such as bone. It was a nasty fracture. Fracture a bone of. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. The act of cracking something. Become fractured. The tibia fractured from the blow of the iron pipe. Break, a bone. Break into pieces. The pothole fractured a bolt on the axle. Interrupt, break, or destroy. Fracture the balance of power. Violate or abuse. This writer really fractures the language. Enter someone's virtual or real property in an unauthorized manner, usually with the intent to steal or commit a violent act. Break into a conversation. Make submissive, obedient, or useful. Break so as to fall inward. Intrude on uninvited. Start in a certain activity, enterprise, or role. Be released or become known, of news. Move around. Move from place to place. How does she get around without a car? Avoid something unpleasant or laborious. Be a social swinger. Socialize a lot. Be released or become known of news. Move out of or depart from. Bring, take, or pull out of a container or from under a cover. Move out or away. Take out of a container or enclosed space. Escape potentially unpleasant consequences. Get away with a forbidden action. I couldn't get out from under these responsibilities. Express with difficulty. I managed to get out a few words. Fail to agree with. Be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. Resist. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Fail to agree with. Be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. This sentence violates the rules of syntax. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Violate the basic laws or human civilization. Violate the sacred character of a place or language. Violate the sanctity of the church. Destroy and strip of its possession. Force someone to have sex against their will. Destroy. Don't violate my garden. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. A disorderly outburst or tumult. An event that results in a displacement or discontinuity. The act of causing disorder. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. There was a gap in his account. An open or empty space in or between things. The explosion made a gap in the wall. A narrow opening. A conspicuous disparity or difference as between two figures. Gap between income and outgo. A pass between mountain peaks. Make an opening or gap in. A difference, especially an unfortunate difference, between two opinions or two views or two situations. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. The telephone as an annoying interruption. Lessen in force or effect. A slight wetness. Deaden, a sound or noise, especially by rapping. Slightly wet. Clothes damp with perspiration. Make vague or obscure or make an image less visible. Restrain or discourage. The sudden bad news damped the joyous atmosphere. Make moist. Lessen in force or effect. Suppress or constrain so as to lessen in intensity. Deaden, a sound or noise, especially by rapping. Make vague or obscure or make an image less visible. Check. Keep in check a fire. Reduce the amplitude of oscillations or waves. Lessen in force or effect. Soften a shock. Make less severe or harsh. Give in, as to influence or pressure. Protect from impact. Become soft or softer. The bread will soften if you pour some liquid on it. Make images or sounds soft or softer. Make soft or softer. This liquid will soften your laundry. Lessen in force or effect. Reduce the level or intensity or size or scope of. Destroy property or hinder normal operations. Become weaker. The prisoner's resistance weakened after 7 days. Lessen the strength of. The fever weakened his body. An escape from jail. The breakout was carefully planned. An escape from jail. An escape from jail. An escape from jail. An escape from jail. Interrupt a continued activity. Break off a piece from a whole. Flee. Take to one's heels, cut and run. Withdraw from an organization or communion. Move away or escape suddenly. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. A sudden intense happening. An outburst of heavy rain. Break open or apart suddenly and forcefully. The dam burst. Be in a state of movement or action. A sudden flurry of activity, often for no obvious reason. A burst of applause. Rapid simultaneous discharge of firearms. Burst outward, usually with noise. Cause to burst. The act of exploding or bursting. The burst of an atom bomb creates enormous radiation aloft. Come open suddenly and violently, as if from internal pressure. The bubble burst. Emerge suddenly. The sun burst into view. Move suddenly, energetically, or violently. He burst out of the house into the cool night. Erupt or intensify suddenly. Unrest erupted in the country. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. Erupt in anger. Break out. The tooth erupted and had to be extracted. Start to burn or burst into flames. Start abruptly. Become raw or open. Become active and spew forth lava and rocks. Vesuvius erupts once in a while. Appear on the skin. A rash erupted on her arms after she had touched the exotic plant. Any frame in which a bowler fails to make a strike or spare. An occasion for excessive eating or drinking. They went on a bust that lasted 3 days. Search without warning. Make a sudden surprise attack on. Separate or cause to separate abruptly. Go to pieces. Ruin completely. He busted my radio. Break open or apart suddenly and forcefully. The chest of a woman. Lacking funds. A complete failure. A sculpture of the head and shoulders of a person. Go to pieces. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Lose one's emotional or mental composure. Break or fall apart into fragments. Exhaust or get tired through overuse or great strain or stress. Be dressed in. She was wearing yellow that day. The act of having on your person as a covering or adornment. She bought it for everyday wear. Have on one's person. Go to pieces. Put clothing on one's body. What should I wear today? A covering designed to be worn on a person's body. Deteriorate through use or stress. Last and be usable. Have in one's aspect. Wear an expression of one's attitude or personality. He always wears a smile. Have or show an appearance of. Wear one's hair in a certain way. Impairment resulting from long use. The tires showed uneven wear. Exhaust or get tired through overuse or great strain or stress. Go to pieces. Deteriorate through use or stress. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. Make an opening or gap in. A failure to perform some promised act or obligation. An opening, especially a gap in a dike or fortification. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Hurt the feelings of. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Offend all laws of humanity. Strike with disgust or revulsion. Cause to feel resentment or indignation. Her tactless remark offended me.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.